It's a warm afternoon in early summer, and you're at the store in front of the strawberries. A little plastic clamshell, $5. You turn it over, and your heart sinks the way it always does. Half the berries are pale and white around the shoulders. A couple in the bottom are already going soft, one furred over with a bloom of mold. But you want strawberries, so you buy them anyway, carry them home, and hope. And when you taste them, they're sour, watery, hard in the middle. Nothing like the strawberry you remember from when you were small. Deep red, sweet clear through, juice running down your wrist. Within a day or two, more have gone soft and moldy in the fridge, and those go in the bin. So you paid $5 for a few good berries and a handful of waste, and next week you'll do it again. And here's the part that nobody ever stops to think about. Every single strawberry you've ever eaten was covered in tiny seeds, hundreds of them on the outside of every berry. And every one of those seeds you threw away. You've been throwing away a whole strawberry patch your entire life. I want you to stop and think about this for a second. Those little specks all over a strawberry aren't just texture, they're seeds. Everyone is a strawberry plant waiting to happen, and a single berry carries a couple hundred of them. The makings of a whole patch, more plants than you could fit in your yard, sit right there on one berry you already paid for. You don't need to buy plants. You don't need luck, or a green thumb, or a big garden. You need one strawberry, a little patience, and a few simple steps nobody ever taught you. There was a time every farm family kept a strawberry patch by the house. They didn't buy it, and didn't buy it again the next year. A patch spreads itself, sending out runners that root and make new plants. So one patch feeds a family for years and only grows. Come June, there was jam being put up, shortcake on the table, children with red-stained hands and mouths. Every grandmother knew how to keep it going. That knowing got forgotten along the way. But it costs almost nothing, and there's nothing hard about it. Only a bit of waiting. You can learn the whole of it in about 15 minutes right here. Let me tell you who I am. My name is Jacob Miller. I'm an Amish farmer out in the Holmes County settlement here in Ohio, and my wife is Rebecca. We've kept a strawberry patch by our house for as long as I can remember, and every June Rebecca puts up jam from it the way her mother did before her. Now, I'll be honest with you from the start, the way I always am. I grow my strawberries the old way, from the runners the mother plants send out, the way most folks always have. But today I'll show you something different and wonderful. How to start a whole patch from a single store strawberry, from the seeds on the outside of the berry, for nothing at all. It's the slow way, but it costs not 1 cent and turns one berry into a patch that can feed your family for years. Let me show you how. Before we get into it, if you like learning the old ways of doing things, do 2 small things for me. Tap that like button down there. It helps this little channel more than you'd ever guess. And subscribe so you can keep learning right alongside Rebecca and me. That's all I'll ask. Now, let's grow some strawberries. Here's everything I'll show you, in order. First, how to harvest the seeds, right off a strawberry. And this is the most important of all. Then how to sow those tiny seeds. Then the patience it takes. And this is the part that tests you. Then, moving the little seedlings to their own homes. Then the final pot. Then sun, water, and feeding. And last, the harvest. And the cycle that means you'll never buy a strawberry again. Do these few things, and from a single berry you'd have eaten and forgotten, you'll grow strawberry plants of your own, a whole patch of them in time, sweeter than any clamshell, spreading themselves year after year for nothing. Never to buy strawberries again, so let's get into it. It's the trick that makes everything else possible. Here's the thing most folks never notice. A strawberry wears its seeds on the outside. Those hundreds of tiny specks all over the skin. Everyone is a seed. It's about the only fruit that carries its seeds on the outside like that. So to get them, you don't cut the berry open. You take them off the skin. Take a ripe strawberry, and with a sharp knife carefully slice off the very outer skin in thin strips, just the layer that holds the seeds, no deeper. And I mean carefully. That's a sharp blade and a small, slippery fruit, so mind your fingers. Lay those strips of seed-covered skin on a piece of clean tissue. Press the seeds down into the tissue with your finger so they stick, spread it flat, and set it somewhere dry for 2 or 3 days. Now, why the tissue and the drying? because those seeds are tiny, near smaller than a grain of sand, and stuck in a bit of wet flesh. Drying it all out on the tissue lets the flesh wither away and freeze the seeds. After about 3 days, when it's gone completely dry, rub your finger gently across the tissue and the little seeds come loose, ready to plant. From one berry, you'll have more seeds than you know what to do with. Take a medium-sized pot and put a small stone or two in the bottom, over the drainage hole. That keeps it from clogging, because these seeds rot in soggy soil. Fill the pot with a good light soil mix, about 1/3 compost worked in, and here's a small tip. Work in a little wood ash or dust the top with a pinch of cinnamon. It sounds odd, but it keeps mold and rot from taking your tender seedlings, which is the main thing that goes wrong at this stage. Press the soil down gentle to make an even surface, and sprinkle your tiny seeds thinly over the top. These seeds are so small, you barely cover them at all. The lightest dusting of fine soil, no more, because a strawberry seed needs to feel the light to wake up and sprout. Bury it deep and it'll never come. And now the step that makes all the difference. Cover the whole pot with a sheet of clear plastic wrap. That makes a little greenhouse. It holds the warmth and moisture in close, keeps the soil from drying, and gives these seeds the steady, damp warmth they need. Then set the pot in full sun and leave it be. A strawberry seed is in no hurry. Where a bean sprouts in a few days, a strawberry seed can take a good 5 weeks, 35 days more or less, before you see the first green thing push up. 5 weeks. So you must be patient and not give up, because for the longest time it looks like nothing's happening down in that soil. But it is. It's just slow. Your one job through those weeks is to keep the soil moist, not soggy, just damp. That plastic wrap does most of the work, holding the moisture in, but check it now and again, and if it's drying, give it a light misting and cover it back up. Keep it warm, keep it in the sun, keep it damp, and wait. And then, one day, you'll see them. The tiniest green seedlings poking up through the soil. That's your sign. Take the plastic wrap off for good, and let those little ones breathe and grow in the open air. The hardest part is behind you now. Your seedlings will come up crowded together in that one pot. Let them grow there until each little plant has put out 3 or 4 true leaves, the proper strawberry leaves that come after the first tiny sprout leaves. When they've got those, they're strong enough to move, and it's time to give each its own space. Handle them gentle now, for they're small and tender. Lift each with as much of its roots as you can and settle it into its own cell or small pot. Spreading them out matters. Crowded together, they fight for root room and light and never amount to much, but each in its own pot has room to grow strong. Firm the soil around each, and here's the important part. Water them well right away. That first drink settles the soil around those little roots and helps them take hold. Then back into the sun. Once your young plants have grown bigger and stronger in their cells, they're ready for their forever pot. Take a good-sized container and again put some small stones in the bottom for drainage. A strawberry hates wet feet and will rot if the water can't run out. Fill it with a rich soil mix, plenty of compost worked in, for a strawberry is a hungry little plant. Now just one plant to a pot, the whole pot to itself, with room to spread, because a healthy plant grows and sends out runners and wants that space. Make a hole. Settle the roots down so they're well covered. Firm the soil around the base, and once more, water it right away. Set it where it'll get plenty of sun, and now your plant is truly on its way. First, the sun. A strawberry wants full, direct sunlight, as much as you can give it, for healthy growth and sweet fruit. It's the same truth as with every fruiting plant. The sun is what the plant turns into sugar, so a strawberry in the shade gives you pale, sour berries, while one in full sun gives you deep, red, sweet ones. Find your sunniest spot and keep your plants there. For water, the rule is simple. Water when the top of the soil has gone dry to the touch. Push a finger in. If it's dry up top, give a good drink. If it's still damp, leave it be. Steady, even moisture, never a soggy bog. And to bring on a good crop, feed your plants a bit as they grow. A little organic fertilizer or compost worked into the top of the soil every few weeks. That gives them the strength to flower well and set plenty of fruit. Feed, water, keep them in the sun, and they'll do the rest. Once your plant flowers, the fruit isn't far behind. A strawberry is typically ready to pick about 3 to 4 weeks after the flower opens. You'll watch those green berries swell, then blush, then turn a deep, full red, and that's when you pick. Pick them red and ripe all over, and don't leave them hanging too long once ready, because a ripe strawberry left on the plant will soon go soft and rot. Pick them at their peak, and they'll be sweeter than anything you ever bought. And now here's the beautiful part, the part that makes those words in the title come true. Your patch keeps going 2 ways, both free. First, save the seeds from your own best berries and start new plants whenever you like. And second, even easier, your plants send out runners, little shoots that creep along the ground, root themselves, and grow into new plants on their own. You do nothing, and one plant becomes 2, then 5, then a whole patch. Between the seeds you save and the runners that spread, your strawberries multiply themselves year after year for free. Buy one berry, learn this once, and never buy strawberries again. Let me run it back for you, quick and plain. First, harvest the seeds, slice the thin skin off a berry, dry it on tissue a few days, rub the seeds loose. Then sow them in a well-drained pot of rich soil, scattered thin, barely covered under plastic wrap. Then wait 5 long weeks, warm and damp, and don't give up. When they sprout, off comes the plastic, and at 3 or 4 true leaves, you move each seedling to its own pot. Then a final pot with good drainage, 1 plant each. Then sun, steady water, a little feeding. And last, harvest 3 to 4 weeks after the flowers, and let the seeds and runners give you a patch for life. That's the whole of it. And let me tell you what all that patience buys you. A pot, and in time a whole patch, of strawberries grown from a single store berry. Deep red, sweet clear through, warm from the sun, picked the moment they're ready. Nothing pale, nothing sour, nothing furred with mold in a plastic box. Carry them into Rebecca's kitchen and there's no end to what they become. Jam put up for winter, shortcake on a summer evening, a bowl fresh over cream. I won't tell you it's quick. From a seed, it's a patient road. But there's not a sweeter reward in gardening, nor a cheaper one. Now let me tell you how knowledge this simple ever got forgotten. There's no money in the seeds on a strawberry. The store would far rather sell you a clamshell every single week, all summer, and again next summer. There's no profit in teaching you that the seeds on one of those very berries, seeds you swallow and never think about, would grow you a whole patch for years, for free. So nobody teaches it. The old knowledge of the strawberry patch, the seeds, the runners, the keeping of it year to year, quit being passed down when folks stopped growing their own, and a whole country came to believe strawberries only come in a plastic box. Most folks never knew they were eating the seeds of their own garden. And here's the plain math of it. A clamshell runs you $4 or $5, gone in a few days, and a good share goes soft and moldy into the bin, so you're paying more for less. But a single berry off that same clamshell carries a couple hundred seeds. Grow even a handful, and you've got plants that fruit year after year and spread into a whole patch for nothing more than the one berry you already bought. There's no better bargain in a garden, a lifetime of strawberries from the price of one berry. So you don't need to buy plants, you don't need luck, and you surely don't need to keep paying for pale, moldy berries in a box. Everything you need is on a berry in your hand. You just give those seeds what they ask for. A little warmth, a little patience, and plenty of sun, and they'll grow you a patch of your own. Now the title says, never buy strawberries again, and I'll be honest with you, the way I always am. Growing from seed is the slow road, weeks just to sprout, and months more before you're picking fruit, sometimes not until the following season. And one more true thing, seeds saved from a store berry don't always grow up exactly like the berry you started with. Well, that's just the nature of seed. But they'll be strawberries and they'll be yours. And once your patch is going between the seeds and the runners, it truly does feed you year after year without your ever buying another. The never again is real. It just asks you to be patient to get there. So here's what I want you to do this week, and it costs nothing but one berry. Next time you've got strawberries in the house, pick a good ripe one, and instead of eating it, save that one for seed. Slice the thin skin off, lay it on a bit of tissue, and set it to dry. In 3 days, rub the seeds loose, Sow them in a pot of good soil under plastic wrap and set it in the sun. Then begin the patient wait. You've just started a patch that could outlast the season by years. Because here's what happens. The little ones love this one from the start. There's real wonder for a child in learning the specks on a strawberry are seeds, and in watching those tiny sprouts finally push up after all that waiting. Let them help slice and dry and sow. And once your family has tasted a warm strawberry off your own plant and watched one berry become a whole patch, the plastic box is finished for good. They'll be saving seeds and moving runners right alongside you and one day teach their own. That's how the knowing comes back, not from a book, but one strawberry at a time. Now I'd love to hear from you. Tell me down in the comments, did you have any idea that every strawberry is covered in seeds you could plant? And what else do you grow from seeds or scraps you'd have thrown away? And if your mother or grandmother kept a strawberry patch or had a trick for the jam, share it down there with the rest of us. Those little things slip away when nobody writes them down, and I read every one. So the next time you hold a strawberry, look close at those hundreds of little seeds before you eat it, and know what they truly are. That's not a snack in your hand. That's a whole patch of summers waiting to happen. Jam and shortcake and red-stained children for years to come, folded into one small berry. Give those seeds warmth, sun, and a good deal of patience, and the earth will hand you back more sweetness than you could ever buy. Be patient, grow plenty, and share the harvest with the people you love.